Thank you, sir, for those insightful words and for sharing your perspective on communication and preparedness. It is indeed our honor and privilege to welcome a truly inspiring personality, an accomplished Indian Air Force officer, experimental test pilot, and astronaut Shri Shubhanshu Shukla, a symbol of courage, discipline, and scientific excellence. It is my proud privilege and honor to walk you through the inspiring journey of our special invited guest, Shri Shubhanshu Shukla. Shri Shubhanshu Shukla, known by his call sign Shuks, was born in Lucknow in 1985. His journey into aerospace began with his selection to the National Defense Academy straight out of school, an early sign of his drive and independence. Commissioned into the IAF in 2006, Shuks trained on the MiG-21 Bison and flew operational missions from key frontline bases. His exceptional flying skills and leadership earned him a commendation in 2009 and later selection to the prestigious Fighter Combat Leader course at TAC Day, where he graduated as Best in Flying. In 2018, he became a qualified test pilot from ASTI and expanded his expertise through an exchange program at Edwards Air Force Base in the US, where he flew the F-16. Next year, he was selected by ISRO as one of India's first astronaut trainees under the Gaganyaan program, completing foundational training at Russia's Gagarin Cosmonaut Center. In 2024, Shuks flew to the International Space Station as a primary pilot of Axiom Mission 4, becoming the first Indian to conduct scientific research in microgravity aboard the ISS. His space flight experience now spans training on both Soyuz and Crew Dragon systems, giving him a rare global perspective on modern spaceflight. Alongside his astronaut career, he is pursuing a master's degree at IIC and leading research on extraterrestrial habitat development using Martian regolith. Currently based in Bangalore with his family, Shuks continued to contribute to India's defense and space program as a symbol of excellence, innovation, and national pride. With this short intro, I kindly request Shri Shukla to please address the gathering today.
Good morning, Hams. It is great to be here. I've been to Goa several times before, but I never thought that I will come to Goa for a convention or a conference. This is the first for me as well. I was obliged in a way to come and be a part of this gathering because there are a few amongst us, Mr. Mani, Mr. Nitin, and Balaji, who were there with us in Bangalore. And this is about 2024 sometime in, I guess, June, July sometime last year. They came to our astronaut training facility in Bangalore and they said that we need to start training you for getting your license as hams. Because the talks for Axiom 4 mission had started. So we asked, how much time do we have? They said, you have about 1 week. I said, okay, so we have to learn the Morse codes and we have to learn the terminology and we have to learn everything and we have to get a license. And said, yes, it's not rocket science. But it was extremely exciting and fun to go through that process, and we are 4 of us in Bangalore and we were able to get our licenses. And I had no clue at that time that I would be the one traveling to space and speaking to people back in India through the ham radio for which I was training at that point of time. So thank you to all of you. Thank you to all the others who are making this happen. My journey to the space and back has been absolutely incredible. I had imagined in my mind of how it would feel when I was going to space, but when the actual experience, when I was traveling, it was very different from what I had in mind. So what I would like to show, it is very difficult for me to compress all of that into, the time frame that we have. So what I would like to do is start with a small video of my entire training, what we did in the past 1 year, and then what we did on station. And it also tries to capture the sentiment with which I flew. I understand that I am one in a population of 1.4 billion people who got a chance to go to space. And I know how extremely fortunate I am. And I flew that with the mindset that even though I am flying, but I am flying with each and every one of you who are sitting in these chairs. So that is the mindset that I reflect in this video as well. I hope you will capture the essence, and thereafter I would narrate my journey to you so that we can go in more detail. Balaji, can we have the Okay, by the time we are getting the video ready, what I would like to start by telling you what the mission was. This axiom for mission. I was the mission pilot for this mission. So there are 4 people who go in the Crew Dragon, the capsule in which you are launched on top of the Falcon 9 rocket. I was the mission pilot. We had a commander who was from the United States. Then we had a Polish mission specialist from Poland and a Hungarian mission specialist. And my job was to pilot the Crew Dragon to the International Space Station, and then while coming back as well, do the piloting. And while we were there on the International Space Station for 14 days, the primary aim was to perform the experiments that were created by the Indian researchers. That was one. The second was to do STEM demonstrations on orbit so that we can expose our kids to the physical phenomena in microgravity. Everything becomes different. Everything is changes. You know, simple things like all of you sitting on these chairs. If we were in space right now, you would have been filling the entire space. You know, some would be hanging from the ceiling, some would be on the wall, and some would be sitting on the chairs. So entire concept changes. And the third thing was outreach from, you know, in terms of photographs, video, and then the contacts through ham radio, you know, from the station. So I was fortunate to have 2 ham contacts while I was on the station. I am Tango November India, and but the call sign that you use is the ISS call sign. Till it is taking time, let me take you through my journey. You know, I've been a fighter pilot most of my life. I have flown fighter jets. I was familiar. Yeah, this is the image when I'm trying to make contact through the ham radio on the station. Of course, you can't see the ham radio here. It is up there on top. So the experience of sitting in a fighter aircraft and taking off, it is extremely dynamic. Like, it is very powerful when you sit inside. And so I'd imagined that when I sit on top of the rocket or the launch vehicle, it would feel similar. I had an imagination in mind. But when the engines ignited for the rocket, like all that imagination that I had in mind, everything went outside the window. It was just a different scale. And then when I finished my mission, I came back, I researched. So a fighter like Sukhoi 30, it produces about 250 kilonewtons of thrust, 250, with both engines. And a rocket, Falcon 9, produces 7,300 kilonewtons of thrust. So it's a magnitude higher and then some. When you stand outside and you look at a launch, it appears very slow because it's a huge structure about 70 meters tall and it is going very slowly. But when you're sitting inside, everything is shaking. You know, every bone in your body rattles when that ignition happens. And it is so quick that you are going from 0 kilometers per hour to 28,500 kilometers per hour in about 8.5 minutes. And that is an acceleration that I did not imagine, I could not imagine of what it would feel like. Actually, we were so excited, the 3 of us, me, the Polish, and the Hungarian astronaut, that we were screaming like kids. And our commander had to tell us to be quiet, I can't hear the articles, you know, and I have to listen to the ground. It was an extremely dynamic environment that we had. The launch was absolutely fantastic. Let me just check. Nitin, is it a, can I come? Let me just try to figure it out. Otherwise, I will narrate the entire story before seeing the video. So just give us some time. So with all this dynamism, with all this high adrenaline activity, you are going up, and then suddenly when you reach orbit, the second stage cuts off, the engine shuts off, and the minute it does, it becomes absolutely silent, absolutely quiet. Such a drastic transition, and that is the first time you experience microgravity. So you were being pushed back into the seat because of the forces, and now your hands start coming up, your legs start flailing, and you start rising in your seat gradually because you are in the environment of microgravity. It's a very different feeling, to experience the microgravity for the first time. So the minute you unstrap, your body automatically lifts off the seat and you start tumbling and you start trying to go to places. Again, second advice by our commander, take it slow. Your body is not used to this environment. Take it slow, move slowly. But we were super excited. We didn't care what she was saying. We were just moving around and trying to look out the window. How does Earth look? So moving too fast, too rapidly, moving our heads. And rightly, in 10 minutes, we were all sitting with our heads in our hand because we all had a headache and we had a dizziness that comes in with space motion sickness. But clearly, when you reach the International Space Station is the first time your body experiences this environment of microgravity. Yeah, let me just check it out. And what happens is that your body has never seen this. Our evolution on Earth has happened in the environment of gravity. So when it goes, there are a lot of changes that happen which you had never envisaged. For examples, all the blood in your legs, the fluid in your legs, it comes up, it goes to your head. Your head becomes, my head was almost twice this size. It was this big. The heart slows down because the heart doesn't have to work against gravity to pump the blood to your head. You become taller, by the way, when you go to space by about 5 to 10 centimeters on an average. I was very excited that I'll get to be, slightly taller than what I am. But unfortunately, when you come back to Earth, you come back to your original height. So it's not a lasting change. So you have to be in space to become taller. You are floating in microgravity. It's effortless, like you're just hanging in air. But everything inside your body is also floating. So you don't feel hungry. Your stomach feels full most of the time. I did not feel like eating for the first 3 to 4 days. And after that, your body gets used to this. And lastly, I would say your muscles are not being used. So we do not realize this, but when all of you are sitting on the chair right now or while I'm standing, we are using our muscles. We are under load of gravity. We don't feel it because just we're so accustomed to it. But when you go to space, when you go in microgravity is the time when you really feel how effortless it is. So your muscles are not used. So in a flight of 20 days, I lost about 5 kgs of weight and 4.2 kgs was the muscle mass. You don't use your muscle at all. So it is not being used, so it is lost. So these are the changes that happen to your...
when I think of
there's no audio. We have an audio. You can play it from the beginning, please.
I just want Hungarian people to know that we did this. We were able to...
Can you pause it, Balaji? Pause it and then play it from the beginning and with the audio, please. The other concept that happens, your understanding of space changes. We say we are 3D creatures, we are 3D beings, but we essentially are not. Like even in this room, it's a 3-dimensional room, but we are all restricted to this floor. We are sitting on this floor and we are standing here, we are walking here. When you get to space, you literally use the 3-dimensional space. You can walk on the floor. If somebody is standing on the floor, you can walk on the wall. If somebody is on the wall, you can walk on the ceiling. Like you can go from anywhere, wherever you want. So that is actual real utilization of the 3-dimensional space. And the concept of gravity is not really understood. Everything is falling at the same time, so nothing is falling relatively. You know, if I was to hold my mobile in International Space Station and leave it, it will stay here, it will not fall. But if I'm to leave it here, it will fall down. So this concept is not understood when you go there. So in the initial few days, I would, if I was holding something and I had some work, I would request one of my crewmates, can you please hold this for me? And since they were also flying for the first time, they would also hold it and stand next to me. And both of us are floating in air. So this was a very unique concept. So it takes a few days. So this is just a summary of what we did in the past 1 year and the mission itself.
Welcome, Earthlings, from Great.
It's an amazing feeling to be in orbit for the first time. When I looked out through the window for the first time, the view was just stunning.
Wow, what a ride it was. But when the ride started, it was something. Like, you're getting pushed back into the seat. It was an amazing ride. And then suddenly, nothing. It was an amazing feeling.
We also wanted to thank you for, basically, thanks for everyone around the world, and every person, every team who made this beautiful day happen.
Grace crew, welcome aboard the International Space Station. Peggy, welcome back. It's a great honor and privilege to have such a legendary astronaut on board with us. And Thibaut, Shooks and Swab, congratulations on your first space flight.
Thank you to all participants. Station, we are now resuming operational audio communications.
I travel to space with the dreams of a billion hearts with me. I want them to live this journey with me because I feel that it is equally theirs as it is mine. Because I feel that this is truly the journey of an entire nation.
And look where we can go when we work together on common platform, common science, then sky is no longer the limit. We can explore space, we can explore science, we can explore technology and build new solutions for the future.
The X4 crew came here with a purpose and a really busy agenda. This was a great mission and we enjoyed it the most. So now we will return home and we will spread the word in our countries that these things are within our reach. These things are possible even for smaller countries like ours.
It's always great to work with a bunch of professionals, which you are, but it's even more special to work with folks that have become our friends even more deeply. Thank you.
Thank you to the Axiom 4 crew.
And we have splashdown of the AX4 crew back on planet Earth.
Welcome home.
I think it's really important to have these examples of people to show the new young generation that actually there are no boundaries. Your dreams, your careers, and your lives have no limits. This is what you dream of, then you can pursue.
Thankfully, this video makes my job very easy. I'm very easily able to tell you what the mission was, what we tried to do, and what we eventually accomplished when we came back. So I was at the point where I was telling you, when you enter the microgravity environment, you don't really understand of, how the concept is. So you leave the mobile, it will stay there. But this concept is not understood. It takes about 6 to 7 days for you to understand. And thereafter, you're leaving everything. I'll just show you a quick video. The next one, please. So what I'm doing in this next video is I'm playing around with cameras and I'm trying to change a lens. You can just play it. See how they are floating in microgravity. You don't have to hold anything. And some people find it very odd when I leave this and let it be. So you can move on to next. This just I wanted to show. So this is what happens. Your mind, your brain rewires after a few days that you can do this. But the problem is then you come back to Earth with the same concept in mind. And when you do, I remember the first night I was working on my laptop, sitting on the bed. It was just the day that I had come back. And I was replying to emails that had come. I closed my laptop, instinctively took it to the side and left it. And immediately I realized that this is not to be done, because obviously it fell. But what is interesting is that your mind really adapts to this new environment really quickly. And it gets used to it. Like that becomes the environment for it now. And so when you come back, you have to relearn the ways. It happens quickly, but it happens. That relearning has to happen. So the body really undergoes a lot of changes. You understand what is happening. These reorientation of space and understanding of gravity happens. But at the same time, you are working on the experiments that are happening on the station. And the simple tasks that we do on ground, they just become so complex. Drinking out of a glass of water is not possible. Leaving anything in an open dish is not possible. So performing experiments also become extremely challenging. How do you contain samples? How do you place objects? How do you handle syringes? Everything becomes a different task. So we did 7 Indian experiments while we were up on station. But I would say the biggest success was that the ecosystem of what it takes to enable an experiment in space was what we learned. I think that was the biggest win. And then since all of you are hams here, I would take a few minutes to talk about the experience I had with the ham interaction with the kids. I had 3 interactions with kids overall. One was live interaction, which was through a video enabled by NASA, and then 2 through ham radio. And it was a telebridge. It was not a direct contact, but a telebridge contact. But I must compliment the entire team who organized this, from the URSC and the AMSAT India. It was such a flawless connection. Like I was expecting, when we start this ham radio contact, the voice will be crackling, I'll have to strain hard to make out what they are saying. But it was as if we were speaking one-on-one, sitting in front of each other. It was that was the kind of clarity we had. But even more than that, what was the biggest success in both these contacts? One was in the northeast region and one was in Bangalore, from where we were doing. In both these contacts, there was at least one kid who did not ask me, how do you eat on station? How do you sleep? What are you doing there? What are the experiments you are doing? The question he asked was, how do I become an astronaut? And I was so happy to hear that while being on the station, that kids have already started asking the right questions. And it is just the power, simple actions that we do not realize what is the kind of impact that they have on, who is listening, what are they assuming, or what are they thinking about this. So I think it was extremely powerful. So kudos to each and every one of you in whatever way you are pursuing this hobby, or you don't know whom you are inspiring, who is looking at you, who is going to take and follow in your footsteps, which child will take to this dream. I was speaking to Alpha Papa Uniform in the morning while we were coming together in the taxi. And he was telling me that he got inspired to pursue ham radio because he saw somebody else, pursuing this hobby. So this is how we inspire and we generate the curiosity among kids. Anyways, we finished our, before we move on, I would also show how peculiar this environment of microgravity is. This is the video we have. This is the station. It is a modular structure which is connected with various modules, one after the other. So you are seeing through 2 modules, one behind the other at this time. And I will start spinning it. So caution, you may get some dizziness, but just imagine what would happen to the person who is taking the video. Can we play this, please? The previous one. Can you try the space bar? Just press the space bar. No, it goes back. Can you make it full screen?
No, this is even better. Because it's in the middle. Of yourself or for the no, this is.
So when it rotates like this, you feel up and down, left and right, everything goes for a sec. You really don't understand what is up and what is down and how it is moving around. But can move to the next one, next video please. But it is extremely easy to record. You don't have to physically do it. To play this one please.
ये मोबाइल है ये?
It's like I'll show
So
you.
you see, you
Mama,
leave anything, leave an
I'll
object,
show you
it
how
will just
to
keep
do it.
rotating and you don't have to stabilize anything. We can move on to the next one please.
ये मोबाइल?
So these are unique things or unique experiences that you have. And what happens when you have these experiences or insights, they give you solutions to problems which are here on Earth, which you don't even imagine in the first place. And before I conclude my talk, and thereafter take on the questions that you have, I would like to show you the one thing that I found to be the most beautiful. So somebody was speaking today that the first Indian astronaut went in 1984. And a lot of the kids were obviously not there, like me. I was also not there in 1984. I was born in 1985. So, but we remember, we've grown up listening to his stories, and we remember the iconic lines, ऊपर से भारत कैसा दिखता है? And he said, सारे जहां से अच्छा. And we still remember it repeatedly being played on the TV and everywhere. And I understand why he said that now, that I've been to space. And the first time I had a look at India from space, I think there is no more beautiful sight that you can see. It is a lot of emotional feelings that make it happen this way. It is not just the sight. You have grown up here. Everybody you know, your friends, families, teachers, mentors, everybody is there in that region where you are passing over. So you feel it in every tissue of your body when you're going over India. So this is what I'm going to show you now. Before playing stop, just wait. I think it will be a bit dim because the lights are on, but it's upside down, and you'll see a green glow on the bottom, which is the Earth, which is the curvature of the Earth. On the bottom are the stars, and this would be the Earth on the top. You would see pass over India. I will mark certain cities which we were able to capture, and then towards the end of the video, you will see a sunrise, how you see a sunrise in orbit. And also you will see certain purple flashes happening all the time. These purple flashes are essentially the thunderstorms or lightning that is happening on Earth at that point of time. Can we have this, please? So you see these purple flashes, these are all thunderstorms. Yeah, so here it is coming. It's not very clear, but this is Bangalore, and this is the Hyderabad city. All these are flashes happening all over India. And we have crossed India, passed over it. And this is the sunrise. So all in all, I would say that it has been a fascinating journey. It has been an experience of a lifetime. And I'm so happy to share that with all of you sitting here. But since this is an occasion for, the HamFest, the impact that I found ham radio to be creating, as I mentioned, the kids asking the right questions, and it was being enabled by the ham radio. It is essentially a hobby, what you are all pursuing. But I don't think that a lot of hobbies can lay claim to the fact that they are actively involved in social service, in inspiring people, and in being a support to the government in times of natural disasters. So I think what all of you doing is incredible. Please continue to pursue this hobby and also evolve with time, I would say. Ham radio, yes. Morning I had a great conversation. I realized how challenging it is. People, the experienced ham operators are growing in age. Their sight is reducing, that is what sir said. And the components are becoming smaller. So it is a challenge to put things together. So my request would be, we have a saying in spaceflight, the only constant in life is change. So evolve with time how things are changing. How can ham radio as a hobby evolve in our country? we are using it for one specific purpose. We can also use ham radio or hams in education, in telling kids of what it is, how is it useful, evolving this existing technology with the current technology that we have, learning about it and changing in ways of how we operate it. So please continue to do the great work that you are doing and continue to pursue this hobby. I am Tango November India signing out now, and I will be happy to take on any questions that you have. Thank you.
Thank you for those wonderful remarks. So we'll start with the kids because he wanted the children to ask questions. So we'll start with some 4 or 5 questions from the students because the next generation has to take over, as he was saying, and then we'll definitely have time for interaction.
Yeah, I'm the youngest kid. So I've got 2 simple questions. Number 1, you said that when, people say they appreciate, you've done wonderful and all that. So I'm Dr. Kailash Gupta, and I live my life normally, and many people tell me that they're inspired. So I don't know what proper reply is. So my question is, what reply you give? That is a simple question. Now, I know you're a test pilot, and IAF and all that, and you're not scared of life. I mean, that is your training. But when you went to space, I mean, what did you thought that if you never come back, or what happens to me? So I'm a transdisciplinary disasterologist, and I've recently submitted a proposal to Indian Council of Medical Research. First time in the world research. I'm a PI of that. Okay, so I'll not talk much about me. So, so reply to my 2 questions. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So I would answer to your first question. I think when what you have achieved in life, over the years, sir, when we do it step by step, we are just doing our work. I am just doing my job, you are just doing your job. So every step is another step for you. It is not a big thing. It is not a huge achievement for you. But this is what happens with life. Progress, when it happens, when you do focus only on what you're doing next, it is not a huge delta from what you were doing yesterday. आप जो कल कर रहे थे और आप जो कल करेंगे उसके बीच में बहुत डिफरेंस नहीं होता, लेकिन आप जो आज से 10 साल पहले कर रहे थे और आज आप जो 10 साल बाद कर रहे हैं उसमें बहुत डिफरेंस होता है. And this is very evident to somebody who is standing from the outside and looking at you. So when people say that they are inspired by you, you are comparing yourself with your yesterday. They are looking and comparing you with what they are at that point of time. So that's a huge delta, sir. And I think we should understand this. This was taught to me by my commander, who is the most experienced American astronaut. And she told me this, that it is not something that is a privilege, when people are inspired by you. It is a responsibility. And that responsibility is to give back and get people where you are. And I think that is how we should be assuming it. So when they say, I say thank you. Yes. The next question, sir. I am a very heavy optimist. I do not think that, I will not come back. Actually, I did not want to come back from space. So it was so great. So I wanted to stay there for a longer time. So I think there is a very fine line between excitement and fear, and it is just of which path you want to take, because both are in future. You get scared or you get afraid by thinking that what will happen if this goes wrong? What will happen if this goes wrong? The other path is you can also think, what happens if it goes right? What happens if everything works out? So I think it's a very fine line. Yes, there are moments when you get scared, but I think the challenge is to come back and think that no, everything is going to work out and we are going to go back. And most of the time it does work out. So I think that is how we should look at life. Mine too.
Thank you, Group Captain Shukla, for those inspiring words. Your achievements inspire countless students across India. So we now have a special interaction that's arranged between the Astronomy Club, Belgaum Net, and Group Captain Shri Shukla. So our first question is from Sia Pokle.
Jain sir, My question to you is, at the time of joining National Defense Academy, did you ever envision yourself becoming an ISRO astronaut? And if this was happening very completely unexpected to you, how did you prepare yourself to get selected?
No, I did not. When I joined NDA, I had no idea that I would be here and I would be the second Indian astronaut. When I was in NDA, very honestly speaking, I was just surviving, trying to fight for my life. It's a really hard training. You know, every day is a single day. You go from one step to the next step. And I don't think that I work like this. I am not able to project too much into the future and say, okay, this is where I want to be or this is what I want to achieve. I think that life throws a lot of unexpected turns and you should be open to it. If I fix this is where I want to go, then I'll probably say no to a lot of things which will come between me and that place, right? So I think that it is what you have really in your hands is something that you are doing right now. Do that as best as you can and then keep saying yes to whatever comes. You don't know where life will take you. And I think that is what has brought me where I am, you know, by saying a series of yes at every opportunity, at every place. So I was already a test pilot when this announcement happened, you know, and they wanted test pilots. So I said yes to becoming a test pilot sometime before. So that is what brought me there. So I think that is what has brought me, and these every step has prepared me to do what I'm doing right now. Thank you.
Good morning, sir. So we are from the GEC Astronomy Club. So I'd like to ask.
Can you hold this closer, mic closer? Yes.
We are from the GEC Astronomy Club. As you know, you've been a massive inspiration for all of us. What roadmap would you suggest for the newer generations who take inspiration from you? And since we are from the engineering college, what would you say the students should align their goals with, and also the educational path that they should take to achieve the goal?
To
achieve the goal.
To achieve their goal, like
no, to achieve the same goal as their inspiration. You.
Astronaut. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. To become an astronaut.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So see, there are going to be many paths. Like initially, when the program is new, it's a prototype mission. What we will be doing. So India already is going to do mission Gaganyaan, which is going to be for the first time we are going to be sending one Indian to space. You know, on our own launch vehicle, in our own capsule, from our own soil. So these are prototype missions. So there is a requirement of a particular profession, which is test pilots. They seamlessly fit into this job. But when this becomes normal, all disciplines will open up. You know, you can be an engineer, you can be a scientist, you can be a researcher. You will have to apply. But three things are required. You know, you have to be medically fit, you have to be physically fit, and you have to be mentally fit. You know, to be an astronaut. So all three types of health are very important. So whatever it is that you are doing, take care of these three things. Have a hobby that keeps you physically fit, eat good food, you know, and take care of your nutrition, and then be mentally fit. And that is also very important, I think, in today's world. There are a lot of distractions, a lot of challenges, you know, don't stress about a lot of things, and, you know, be stable. I think these are the three main criteria which are required for you to be astronauts. As far as profession and roadmap, I think there will be a lot of roadmaps to become an astronaut, because somebody who's coming from engineering background, somebody who's coming from scientific background, they will have different paths, but they can all lead up to where you eventually want to be. And we would be looking for a lot of astronauts in future because you have to go to the moon, right? Okay, thank you.
Thank you,
sir. Good morning, sir. My name is Shubham. I'm the president of GC Astronomy Club. Thank you so much for coming. As we saw in the video, there were more than 60 experiments that were performed. So can you shed some light on the experiments that you performed on board the ISS, and like what is the impact of those experiments on humanity?
So there were total 60 experiments performed between the four of us. I was a part of 11 of them, out of which 7 experiments were created, conceived and developed by Indian researchers. You know, for the first time, they got the access to microgravity research. So of course there was a lot of different type of experiments, but all of them were designed with an aim in mind that we ourselves are going to do long duration space flight. So like how to address nutrition challenges for long duration space flight, how to design systems for or screens for space flight, Then there was one experiment for stem cell research. I told you, you have a muscle loss when you go to space. How to prevent that? So there was a research on that, and the scientists were adding supplements to see if we can prevent this loss. So if this is successful, this can be used on ground for people who have muscle degenerative diseases, right? So all of them have this potential benefit on Earth, like nutrition challenge, food security. You can address food security on Earth. So all these have potential applications on Earth as well. With that mindset, we designed all the experiments on space. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We will continue with the questionnaire after a little while. We now have HamFest India inaugurating and announcing their Ham Radio Satellite Awards by the HamFest India team.
Good morning, everyone, and good morning, Shuks. On this occasion, we would like to announce the release of AMSAT India Satellite Awards. So these are awards basically hams can apply by working through the amateur radio satellites. And we have different category of awards. So I would like Shuks to announce this award and just cut the ribbon announcing these awards. You can cut the ribbon. So basically this is different kinds of awards that we are offering from AMSAT India. So they work through the satellites and they can apply for these awards to AMSAT India.
Oh, okay. If they have worked with it.
Yeah.
Okay, please.
Thank you.
Question for you is, can we expect any similar collaboration for the future Indian astronauts or space research experts with any other international organization other than NASA? And my another question is, in any near future, can we expect Earth as a whole to have an international space research organization rather than one controlled by only one government or only one corporation? Thank you, sir.
I think that's a great idea. What I've realized in my journey in the past 1 year, that space exploration is truly a collaborative effort. And it's a very nice analogy. Like it is not restricted to a region or a place, and it is very natural and organic. I will tell you why. I thought about this and came up with this analogy. Like when we are small kids and we start going to school, your home becomes your identity. When you're in school, when you leave your school and you go to your college, your school becomes your identity. You say, I'm from such and such school. When you leave your city, you go to right? Last year I was in US, so I was from India. And as an extension of this, when you leave the planet and you go outside Earth, the Earth becomes your identity. And that is very natural. It is not something that you can force. So by nature, space exploration is very collaborative. And it makes sense to have such a body which will do research on an international basis and not a national basis. Obviously, there would be national interests aligned, but it's a great idea, I would say. There would be collaborations. As I said, it is a collaborative effort. There are a lot of collaborations already happening, between ISRO and other space agencies for a lot of projects. But truly, having an international body for conducting research, I think that's a great idea. I'll follow up on that, for sure. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hello sir, my name is Chinmay, and my question is regarding your experience on the International Space Station. Is there any memorable experience that you had, and has it in any way affected your worldview or your perspective about not only our nation, but like the world and humanity in general?
Yeah, I think everything was memorable. The entire experience has been memorable, right from launch till the splashdown, and even before that, the training as well. But like I said in the previous answer, it's a very natural feeling when you are on orbit to look back at Earth, and then two things are highlighted very strongly. One is that this is one, like it just feels as your home, like this entire planet, not a continent, not a country, not a city, not a region, but this planet is your home. That is, the feeling of oneness is very, very strong. And second is the insignificance. The size of Earth is massive. It is huge. It came to my mind that if all the people, 8 billion plus people were to be taken and put, we would be standing in one corner or one quadrant of the Earth. That's it. Maybe even lesser. We will not occupy more space than that. So that is how big it is. So whatever we are doing, wherever we are going in life, whatever position we are acquiring, whatever portfolio we are holding, sometimes there is a possibility that we become too big, for a lot of people. We assume a lot of importance. I think that just comes down when you look at the Earth from the outside, just to understand of what the scale is and what we are. Two big lessons for me from spaceflight. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So my question is regarding your recent Exam 4 mission. So how do you think it will contribute to the success of Gaganyaan, your experience?
The Axiom 4 mission was conducted with an intent to successfully conduct Gaganyaan mission. The intent was human spaceflight missions are very different from satellite missions. There is a whole lot of systems that have to develop. Safety is of the very high order. So a lot of things have to be learned. By being a part of human space mission, you gather knowledge which is otherwise not available. So whatever experience I have gained is now going back into the system for enabling the Gaganyaan mission. That was the primary aim actually. So Axiom 4 was just a stepping stone for conducting the Gaganyaan mission that we have. So it is helping in a lot of ways for our own mission. Thank you.